And now, stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul. Hello.
And we've got another update for you on the BBL this week.
The British Basketball League, the greatest league in the United Kingdom, Mark.
Well, the only league in the United Kingdom, but yes, absolutely.
On that point, we were talking to, it's coming up, and we were talking to lots of people, but we were talking to a Newcastle Eagles owner last night, and I think that's coming up this week, is it?
Mr. Blake, yes.
And one of the things that we said to him, and I just thought, let's start the show with this tomorrow, that we were like, I don't think people in the UK realise how good the British Basketball League is. You turn up to the venue, and you've got all the dun 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 dun, all the great sound effects. You go into a timeout, all the lights go down, bam, you got the dancers coming on the court. You've got all the music playing like that. You've got a mascot running around. You've got all that entertainment going on, plus you got a game of basketball.
Yeah, it's a full experience.
And it's like, what, £10 a ticket sometimes, £15 a ticket. I actually, after speaking to Paul last night, I went up and looked at the price of a Newcastle hospitality ticket.
Yep.
It's not that expensive. It's basically the same price. This is hospitality with a meal, a bar. You're meeting players and stuff like that. Same price, pretty much, as a Premiership football ticket.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, wow, if I'm up in Newcastle, I'm going to do that whole VIP experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that goes without saying, doesn't it? And I'm curious actually to have a look and see what the other teams are doing on that.
Yeah, I can only speak for Newcastle. No, actually, no, I looked at the Surrey prices. I think it was like £11 something to go watch them play. But it's nothing, really. It's nothing.
No,
and
that's good. That's
it's
good
just
shout.
great entertainment. It's just great basketball. And watching it on YouTube and on Sky Sports Arena, I'm always watching it just going, oh, I just want to be there. Just want to be there. And I hope our listeners, have that enthusiasm that we have. And, if you're around, go and check out a game. If you're not around, pick a team and support it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who want
They want their local team to be in there, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things we covered in the episode, and we won't ruin it, but there's only so many teams at the moment. So you're going to have to pick a team. And it might not be, like football. There's a lot of people who support football who don't live anywhere near I support Man United. What? You live in Plymouth?
Or they'll support Portsmouth and they'll go, yeah, that's my Premier League team.
Yeah, exactly. And
I had an amazing idea.
Amazing?
Amazing idea.
Or an amazing.
What did I just say?
I'm joking.
Anyway, we can pick. If someone doesn't know, we can pick the teams for. We can have the pot of the goblet of choice or something, and you can draw live
the goblet of
and
choice.
Say this is for.
If you're a Harry Potter fan, we are not ripping that off in any way.
This is the we should just say it's the goblet of fire, shouldn't we? Yeah. Literally, we would say, Dave Smith, here we go.
The goblet of force.
We're picking the ticket. You have got Newcastle Eagles.
We'll do.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Someone wants us to pick. We'll do the goblet of fire.
Yeah, we can do something like that. That's not a bad idea. We could get something like that on the
Someone
website.
says, I need a team. We'll give you a team. Anyway, right. We cracking on with this week, Mark?
We are going to crack on with this week. It's been a good week, actually, for the BBL, I think. And what's quite nice is that if you think it's only a few weeks back that we were in the league. We were in the trophy.
Yeah.
And now it's just, I might say not that the trophy didn't exist, but we're full steam ahead back in the league. Last week, it sort of picked up a little bit. This week, we're full blown into it.
There is, and there's only one way you can start this show. Can I start this one? Yeah? And I'm talking about that kid. Do you know what I'm talking about? That kid, Leicester versus Sheffield. We're talking fourth quarter. I want to say 8 minutes 20, 8 minutes 30, 8 minutes 40, something like that left on the clock.
Technically, you should give another round of applause to his mum.
All right, this is for his mum.
This is for his mum.
There you go.
Not in that way, though. She doesn't get the full applause that he does.
Well, for those who don't know what we're talking about, this was a brilliant moment, I thought. And it was this young man. He had a Michael Jordan top.
MJ wanted to tag in.
He runs on the court during the game. And, you know, looking from the video, it looks like they're sat right behind the basket. Behind the basket, one end. So that kid has got a clear line onto the court. And the brilliant thing about it is his mum's running after him. And any parent out there knows how she's feeling right there. And it's like, you know what? At one point, it looks like she grabs hold of him. She's like walking him off the court.
He's slippery.
Well, it looks like she looks to the referee and goes, "I'm so sorry." I thought, what a great moment. But yeah, she apologizes to ref. But whoever had the ball at the time, it was who was it? I think it was a Sheffield player. Damn it, that's
either Sheffield or Leicester, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because they were playing.
Well, no, but I'm saying it's either one of them.
Yeah, it would definitely be one of them. But whoever had the ball, he actually points to the kid as he's coming up the court.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and what I thought about that moment, the players on the court showed 100% professionalism. The referees showed 100% professionalism. The kid, he wanted to get ready for the big time in the BBL, but he's just starting maybe 10, 12, 15 years too early.
If you're doing 5 and pine and you put MJ on the bench, he wants to get on the court, and he channeled his inner MJ and he got himself on that court.
And as his mum's walking him off, you can see people are smiling, people are laughing. It's quite light-hearted. Referees made the great
It didn't interrupt the play, did it?
No, it didn't affect anything whatsoever, other than just people went, "I've never seen that before in my entire career." I mean, there was a
cat on a basketball court a few weeks back. There's a little video going around. I'm sure people have seen it. There's a cat that just randomly got into a stadium and was running along a court.
I've seen bats before, or birds. You've seen that.
There's a famous one in one of the courts, isn't it? Is it Phoenix? Where the guy comes with a bat costume on, trying to catch them.
I think it's San Antonio.
Oh yeah, that's it. Maybe
because the only reason I could be wrong, Texas, right? I just remember Parker hitting a bat once. That's what I remember.
Shot didn't go in because a bat hit.
He's like, wham, and then he picked it up, gave it to someone, and that was it. But yeah, no, like I thought it was such a light-hearted moment. Game paused for 20 seconds, ball inbounds, bam, they're back into it. I just thought great moment for the British Basketball League, and it was. I just thought
you've got to celebrate those things because it's human, isn't it? These are real people. We're real. Everyone's playing and real life is happening,
and every parent can sympathise with
everyone.
Imagine she's looked around and gone, her heart sunk, and she's gone, "Oh no, he's on the court."
Well, especially
and the play's going towards him.
She was looking at her phone, or just like anyone does, and they're just doing something. They're watching the game, so they're watching that play, and he's going, "I'm going to go through that gap." So he snuck off on the gap, and then she went, "Oh, there's a kid on the." That's mine.
Yeah.
And there's a 2-second delay.
Towards the end of the game, though, they're not sat in that same spot.
No, they're not there.
So I think it's like, right, we're going home. But look, you might be, told off by your mum, but I'll say glory lasts forever. Yeah. Just remember that. That is a story you will be talking about. Yeah, I just ran onto the Leicester court.
Yeah.
Try to get into the game. But the rest weren't allowing it. So my mum had to drag me off. That story will be told in his family for the next 80 years.
That is genius. That's the sort of kid who, when he's older, turns into the guy at the Super Bowl who ran on being a streaker. He put a bet on that there was going to be a streaker on the Super Bowl. Then he went and did it, and they honoured the bet, and he won like $400,000 or something.
Well, that's that before the betting companies worked out how, hang on, someone could actually just go and do it themselves.
I don't know, but they just... there was no loophole in that, so he went and did it.
Well, there you go. Thinking outside the box.
That's the kid's future there.
Well, there you go, Mark. I just thought that had to be the start because
just kick that game through. Let's go through that game.
You want me to go the Leicester game?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had the Leicester Riders hosting the Sheffield Sharks, and you know what? One of the things I noticed, and I just want to highlight it, which was there could be a lot of dunking that's happening in Leicester because those rims look like they're taking a beating.
You reckon?
Do you know when the front of the rim just leans down a little bit?
Yeah.
One in particular looks worse than the other.
Oh,
it's not too bad. It's not too bad, but I thought it was noticeable. Like, oh man, you need to do something with those rims. I don't know if they just need to bend them back. I mean, look, these guys are like 6'8", 6'9", slamming 200 odd pounds, coming down on
They're
that
not
hard.
small,
So
yeah.
it's it's just something I noticed. But the other thing I wanted to say about Leicester is, I don't know who's in charge of their entertainment, but what a great show that they put on that goes alongside the game. And it was when I was watching that game in particular, I was like, I really want to start off by highlighting how good the entertainment is at these games. And, you know, he had all the music going, the commentating, the noise, the sounds, all of it. And I just thought it just complemented the game really well, similar to noises that we're doing in the Portsmouth Force, and I was just like, brilliant, great. But you got to hand it to Sheffield in this game because they have definitely been working on some things because it was a great performance, especially in the first half, but in the second half it wasn't quite there. They only had 37 points, but what a great all-round team performance from Leicester. I know you're a huge fan of Teddy Allen, Teddy Buckets, as he's called. What a great performance he put on, specifically in the third quarter. He was making extremely sensible decisions with the ball when he had it. I had a stat because I know you like this. He was 100% from the line, and he went to the line 11 times, 11 for 11.
I mean, look, let's just dwell on that. He went to the line 11 times, and that team at that point, well, through there, they went down a couple of times. Leicester were down a few times during that game. He's going to the line, so it's a tight enough game where every point matters. He's banging them all in. That's what you should be doing. You're pro.
And yeah, exactly what you just said there. I thought he just hit tough shot after tough shot, and his proficiency is absolutely outstanding. And that in itself just highlights what an outstanding player he is, and whoever got him in Leicester, like, you know, pay rise time. Like, it's like, what an impact he's had on the team.
Or go to Europe time.
But you've got Teddy Allen. He ended the game with a double-double with 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists, Mark.
That's very good. That is a very good stat.
Actually, I'm going to come back to saying I got some stats for you. But after that victory, you know, Leicester are continuing their charge up the table. And some of the things I wanted to highlight for you was that game, Leicester scored 28 points from the free throw line, and they're the best in the league at actually getting to the line, and they're the third best in the league at making it from the line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
And you had Jaron Holmes as well with 19 points and 6 assists. He had I think it was second half, he had a beautiful teardrop over 2 Sharks. Yeah, they're both closing him down, just throws it high, drops down. And you've also got to credit Adowu and McKenzie. They had great games. I laugh because they just got overshadowed by an absolutely amazing performance from Teddy Allen. but they had great performances. They played great, and this is where I wanted to go back to, where I just got to. So Teddy Buckets, he's played 9 games in the BBL now.
Yep.
He's scored 238 points.
Wow. That's some going.
So he's averaging 26.4 points, yeah? Now, another huge player who scored more points than anyone else in the BBL at the moment is Matt Morgan.
Yeah.
466 points. But he's played 24 games, and his average is 19.4.
Wow.
You like that, don't you? So
yeah, I mean,
it would be interesting where Alan would be if he had played those 24 games. He's going to be up there competing with the top scoring title with Matt Morgan.
I mean,
you can't take away from Matt Morgan.
You can't take that.
He scored more 3-pointers than anyone else in the league by a lot. I think he scored 71.
But also, with defense of Morgan as well, there's been games where Morgan hasn't been as prolific with his scoring. He may be getting 14 or 15 or something,
and he can be rested.
But the cast that the cast he's got around him, they can afford to do that. Teddy's driving the charge on this one. But do you know that they've won 7 out of their last 8 games?
Sorry, who's this?
Leicester. 7 out of their last 8 games. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? As far as a stat goes.
Yeah, no, they're all coming together, and you got to talk about, Teddy Allen, because he's joined the team for the last 9 games.
Yeah.
Maybe he's that piece that that they needed.
Yeah, it seems that way. It seems that he's done something to the dynamic of the team, not just as a great player and being able to put something in as a contributor, but he's done something to the dynamic of how they all are fired up or how they're all playing together or gelling. I don't know, but
and if you listen to his interviews as well, so in particular after that game, he's a real humble guy.
I've never listened to the interviews.
Yeah, well, it's him in particular. He just came across like I'm very appreciative for being here, and that's he was a complete professional. So Leicester got the win, 108, Sheffield 94. However, Sheffield, and going back to my very first point with this one, especially in the first half, Sheffield look like they're starting to click. So I think if they start playing in games like they did in the first half, it'll be interesting to see where they end up.
I mean, at one point they were all tussling in that sort of middle section. Leicester seems to be putting their foot down a bit and moving up that table or trying to get up there, but it's not a huge win, is it? It's sort of a 9-point win or 11-point win. Sorry.
So there you go, Mark. That's the Leicester game.
Wow,
great game.
We
should call it the Teddy Buckets game.
The Teddy Buckets game. So one of the games we are not skipping around, but we'll come back to it, is obviously the Caledonia game. But you've got one on the Caledonia game from previous in the week. So the next game that
we kind of touched on it as well.
We touched on it last episode, but to round it all off. But Plymouth were playing the Eagles, and this was in Plymouth. So it's no surprise, in a way, that Newcastle would be the victors there. 92-80 to score, 12-point victory, fairly comfortable. Ricky McGill, Larry Austin, they just led them, completely locked in offensively, and the way that there was very early deficit, like they sort of just fell behind that curve a little bit. Then they just, when you just see a team put their foot down, and they just went, okay, we need to do a bit more work here. Put their foot in, got over that line, and then they just kept it. And then by the second quarter, they got down to a really short, narrow lead, but they kept that lead, and then they just put the foot down, and off it went. The second half, it was really turnovers and pretty shocking defence. I don't know if you saw any of the highlights of the game, but the Plymouth defence seemed non-existent. And it wasn't just that the Eagles were making them look like they were standing still. You just thought, come on, you just got to do more. And then there was turnovers and then some sloppy play. And then that just allowed the Eagles to go away. So it wasn't that the Eagles, it wasn't that the Patriots lost it, because the Eagles were always going to win that one, I believe. But the Patriots just they weren't clicking at all. They just made their lives a bit easier. Ricky McGill, named player of the game, 27 points.
A legend, Ricky.
3 rebounds, 4 assists.
Challenging for that scoring title.
Yeah, and you know what I love seeing when you have people who are scoring, and like you did with Teddy Buckets, they're getting rebounds and they're getting assists as well. It's not you are just out there to score. They're out there playing, they're assisting, they're getting rebounds, they're actually contributing to the whole flow of the game, and I love seeing that. But it's a foregone conclusion on that. The one thing I would highlight is if you go and watch the clips or the full game, it's out there on YouTube, I believe.
They're all out there on YouTube. All the games are.
It's set in the Patriots Stadium, which obviously is not going to be there next season.
Which is a shame, because that's one of my favourites.
But that game, it's got really the atmosphere in it. You go, it's just so good.
And they turn the crowd down.
Yeah, it's so good.
Again, their entertainment package is really good. Brilliant. As well. I love it. Really reminds me of, I'd say it's how basketball should be. When there's a timeout, all the lights go down. So I haven't paid too much attention, but I'm assuming there's like a torch or something on the coach's clipboard or whatever it is so they can see, but it goes quite low down at times.
I don't know, maybe they have a little book reading light or something. I've never even thought of that.
But they do one of the best shows.
They do, and it's part of that whole pavilion thing. So the fact that they're losing that is a shame, and who knows what they're going to be doing next season. But just watching that, you go, at first you think, this game's closer than it is, but when you look it back, you think the Eagles struggled finding their form, and then when they just found that gear off, and that's it, and then they didn't really have to try that hard. Fairly straightforward victory there, but it's a road victory, and as we know, road victories aren't easy.
So it's a straightforward victory, but it's not straightforward.
Well, it's a straightforward victory. They got it, but at the same time,
I know what you're saying.
When you're on the road, it's always, you don't have your home fans, and especially when you go in somewhere like that where it's got a really good atmosphere. I mean, to be fair, all the BBL places seem to have a good atmosphere, but the Patriots in particular have a very specific type of arena that is unique, and it must be a home advantage. It just must be. So to get a win down there, is a big thing. Remember, the Patriots beat the Lions. It's very easy for everyone to forget that, but they beat them down there. So taking those wins there, it's obviously a place to go. But that's it. So that's that game.
I forgot. We used to do like an air horn going between all the games. Was it the air horn? Yeah, it was. I forgot. We need to bring that back.
Let's bring it back.
You mucked it up because you got too excited there. Wow. The only problem is...
Your voice?
My voice is going because, this is an exclusive of what's coming up. But last night we recorded Newcastle Eagle owner Paul Blake. Fantastic interview that was. It was just an honour to get so much time with him.
Yep, thank you, Paul. That's great.
And the the day before that, we had an absolute BBL legend in Colin Irish.
Yeah.
One of the BBL greats. And again, that was over 3 hours we were talking to him. And so that is why my voice is going, if you can hear it. But you know what I love about some of the interviews we do? I'd say majority of them. And those two are definitely highlights of it, is people give you time, which is so valuable.
Yeah, it's very appreciated.
And a lot of people don't know this, but before we start the interview that everyone hears, we're having a general chit chat. And like the chit chat we had with Colin Irish went on for 45 minutes. Yeah. It was great. And it was and then we finished recording after like 2.5 hours. And then we carried on talking basketball for another 45 minutes. It was very similar with Paul as well, Paul Blake.
and a couple of the other guests in the past that we've had who've been on and been gracious with their time have come in and said, oh, that's fine, and didn't think it would be more than half hour, 45 minutes chatting. And 2 hours later, they're leaving. Thinking,
Jax was one of them, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, it was when he was like, I only told the wife it would be 45 minutes.
He was like 3.5 hours. Well,
yeah.
that's the beauty of basketball. You start talking about it and you just get swept up. And
it's
then,
anything. If you're passionate about something, you really enjoy everything like we do with basketball, but it could be anything. It could be music. It could be knitting. If you're talking about something that you really enjoy, you just get totally overwhelmed. Badminton. You could go on for hours about that, couldn't you?
Hang on. I need to find a sound for that, Mark. If I could find like a tumbleweed sound or something like that, that is what I would have played for your badminton nonsense. Badminton. No one likes badminton. Anyway,
if anyone out there knows of and I really would like a GB, someone who is performing at a top tier badminton player.
I could beat easy.
From the ladies' team.
Easy.
It's
not a sport.
I'd love you to, if you know that person or you know anyone in that sort of thing, get in touch with the show and play. I would love to arrange a game where Paul has to play someone like badminton.
Easy. I wouldn't break a sweat, mate. Wouldn't break a sweat. But I refuse to play on a court where there's badminton, where there's basketball lines.
So you
I
would
wonder
have
if
to
they
go
walk
to
on and go, oh, basketball lines.
That's the question we've got to ask him.
Yeah. Anyway, right, let me crack on with this one. Right, we're going to talk about the Bristol Flyers at home to the, are we saying league champions to be, I guess, London Lions. They haven't, it's mathematical.
To be.
If mathematically possible that I guess Cheshire could catch them, but they're not. They're not. And I always look at leagues and stuff like this where I'd look at it and go, okay, they've played 3/4 or what is it, 80% of the league maybe, and they've lost 3 games. Are they now going to lose 5 games, 6 games in their last 8? No, probably not. So that's what I mean by that. That's why I'm fairly confident when I say they're champions. But I did say that in week 11 as well, Mark, maybe week 10. Remember that?
You said it week 4, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So let's talk about London in particular. This game. What a great game for Tevin Ollison and Matt Morgan. Just looking at their stats, they both had 31 points in this game. Their field goal percentage, 61%, 62%. Free throw percentage, Matt Morgan, 100%. Ollison, 80%. It was just, they were absolute outstanding for their teams.
Yeah.
They both started the game really strong. Ollison in particular, I loved how strong and aggressive he was being.
I like him as a player. Yeah.
And it seemed just to fall away in the fourth. But what was great about this game was London pull away, Bristol keep coming back. London pull away, and that repeated a few times. And there were moments when it looked like London were going to just absolutely pull away, and then Bristol come back into the game. And look, to beat London, you need to put up big numbers. Bristol put up 93.
Yeah.
And they gave it a big shot, but unfortunately, Matt Morgan was on fire.
Yeah, he was absolutely. He obviously heard you talking about Teddy Buckets going for that scoring championship, and Morgan was like, "Just wait a minute."
Well, yeah, I've heard a few London players now say, "Hang on," when they're watching Teddy Allen going, "Hang on, we're gonna have to start passing Matt Morgan the ball more, get his numbers up." But yeah, I mean, he started the game absolutely on fire, and he combined with Dante Gratham, who got 24.7 rebounds, 4 assists. They combined together for 55 points. Over half the points for London. and there was an absolute. This might be my favourite play of the week, I think, with the exception of that kid running on the court.
Oh, really?
Matt Morgan driving on the inside. He's imagine you're facing the basket. He's driving in like on the right hand side, coming through the lane, and he like does a pump fake to his right. The defender is sold, flies over. The defender goes to his left, and he's just got a clear lane, gets that shot. But what an incredible movement of the ball. And it was so quick. Bam, defender's gone. He's got an open shot. This game in particular just highlighted, for me, his agility, his speed. What a player. What a player. Where did I write it? How many points did he get? I got 31 points. Where's the rest of his stats? I didn't write it down. Oh, no. Have you got his stats there?
Whose stats, Jim Wood?
Matt Morgan. If I had to guess, I'd say 31 points, 5 assists.
Let me have a look.
Where is it? I didn't write that down. That's a disgrace.
That is utter disgrace.
That is a disgrace.
Hang your head in shame.
I think he got 2 rebounds, 3 rebounds.
Just looking at it now.
It's the points where he made that huge contribution.
31, 2 rebounds and 4 assists.
Oh, I wasn't far off then. Yeah.
And for Tevin Ollison, 31, 3 rebounds and 4 assists.
Yeah. And you've got to chuck in Levi Bradley in there. He had a
Levi Bradley was brilliant, and Dante Graham.
Huge contribution with 21 points, 3 rebounds and 2 assists. The only I think the negative that I found with London was they had 19 turnovers in this game, which resulted into 20 points for the Bristol Flyers. I just thought that was a really interesting stat.
19 turnovers.
19 turnovers, yeah.
Not just, was it sloppy play or just... Because that was one of the things in the Plymouth game. It was so sloppy, they were just bumbling everywhere. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that,
19 turnovers.
But, yeah, Matt Morgan was absolute on fire.
And it's a road win, so that's always good because, they've got the copper box. They know anyone goes to the copper box, they're always going to have a tough game, aren't they? It's a fortress, isn't it?
They're just not taking their foot off the throttle.
No.
Definitely Matt Morgan's not. And it was, if you got a spare 5 minutes, go check out the highlights. It's basically, I'd just say it's the Matt Morgan highlights, really. Well, Matt Morgan and Tevin Ollison, it's their highlight reel, really. But you got Dante Gratham as well, but he'll be in there. But and please check out that play. I hope the BBL, I love their social media stuff they do, and I really hope they do Matt Morgan's fake. Yeah, check it out. It is arguably one of my favourite moments this week. So yeah, Mark, that is the Bristol Flyers game.
Flyers.
They had 93, London had 101. The Lions roar out of Bristol with the win.
Well, on that note, we've got to be talking about the Scorchers and the Giants. Surrey Scorchers playing at home narrowly, and I mean narrowly, 89-85 beat Manchester Giants. And I actually thought they were going to lose at one point, and not just like lose a little bit, lose a lot. I'm just looking at my notes now. It was a team effort to overcome the deficits because the way in which Manchester were just, I won't say freely scoring, but they just seemed to end to end. Every time they got one, there was another one back. It was like they couldn't pull away. And then they sort of were down a little bit. Then they got closer. Then Manchester pulled away. But they really, really, really just worked as a team to do that. And I'm going to, I won't say give some shout outs really, but Saquon Jameson, a player that we've talked about before, player of the game with a double-double, 13 points, but 13 rebounds. And you can't really go wrong if you're going to be getting those sort of numbers. I would, however, like to put in that Andrew Lawrence put in 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 11 assists. So if you're chucking 11 assists in, everyone on the team's contributing, everyone's getting points on the board. Their 2 high scores were, under 20. Whereas when we look at Manchester Giants, it was Nicholas Lewis on 25 and Nick Stampley on 21. So you really had that Manchester two-pronged attack, so to speak. Whereas Surrey, it was very clear everyone was contributing, everyone was putting something in. But for me, where the game was really contested, it was towards the end, and it was the starters who were, I won't say having the difficulty, but when the bench players came on, I think that was the separator. Because I think maybe the teams are just very equal. Maybe Manchester Giants and Surrey Scorchers sit in that middle part of the table where everyone is equally as talented. But it was the depth of the bench at Surrey that maybe pushed, I would say arguably gave that. I mean, we're talking about 4 points. 4 points. It's not really that huge. But that does mean that there is a chance the Scorchers can be in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Let's have a look. Could I see? Sorry, I haven't seen the table this week. Well, I haven't seen it recently. Oh, you haven't got it. That's right.
No, I've got a table. But what I was going to say was, but that kills it off for Manchester completely.
Oh, they're done.
Yeah, that completely.
So who's fighting for that 8th spot? So you got Surrey.
Wow. Let me show you the table. So table this week, as it currently stands: Patriots at the bottom, then Giants, then Scorchers. And that's why this game was so important.
Oh, but the Giants, they could.
Well, you say that, but Surrey are now on 11 wins, whereas the Giants are on 7.
There's a gap there, isn't there?
But also, more importantly, the gap is who beat who. Surrey beat Manchester. They are the team. They're the incumbent team above Manchester. So even if it came to a draw, it's like, well, who did you play? How did you do when you played each other? Well, we lost. So Surrey have pretty much pushed that out to them, which is, obviously for Manchester, that would have been a really tough blow. But Surrey were playing at home and, they secured the bag. So fair play to them. But I just thought it was interesting that it was a very, very team focused win. Everyone put some points on the board. Everyone was getting involved in that. Whereas with Manchester, it's more a couple of players really pulling out the stops. But that was the game in hand.
4-point win for Surrey.
Yeah. Over to you.
Nice. Well, you're doing the Plymouth game, aren't you? That's the next one.
Oh, okay, I'll do that one. Plymouth and Leicester.
Plymouth back at home.
Leicester. As I heard one of my foreign colleagues call it once, Leicester.
Leicester. That's like Worcestershire, isn't it?
Yeah. They were getting they were coming out with some beautiful sayings. So Plymouth, probably the surprise of the week, I think it's fair to say. Plymouth playing at home in the pavilions against Leicester, and they pull off the win. No one saw that coming.
Well, can I add something to this?
Yeah.
The Riders had players missing. They had 9 players in total, and Miran Thomas in particular wasn't playing. And just personally, I think he would have made a significant difference in that game.
Yeah, no, I agree. But he wasn't there. So they lost. 109-93. It's not a small loss either. 16-point deficit. Even though Plymouth are bottom of the league, they overcame Leicester, who haven't lost any of those games in as we've just talked about. They were up 7 for 8.
That's their first loss in a while, isn't it?
And that was, they hadn't lost directly 6 games. That's 6 games they won back to back. So that was their first one. Tyrell Green, I want to call out for Plymouth, standout performance. From the bench, 33 points.
Yeah, he also made some huge plays.
Yes.
At the absolute pivotal moments, I thought, in the game. I love his footwork, and I think he made a huge impact from beyond the arc as well.
He did, and it was particularly in that second half. What I loved seeing was that he did that from the bench. So immediately they've got to be looking at that thinking, as a coach, do you think he's like the microwave guy? So we know he's going to come on and he's going to be hot. Or is he actually someone that we should be starting? And I think those are really interesting. You know, you're creating an issue for a coach now, aren't you? Where the coach is there thinking, has he earned his place as a starter? Or is he better to come on, produce, do his part, and then move on? Because that's you know, you've got to create problems for your coach in a way with those sort of things. But fantastic result for him. 33 off a bench. I've got to say again, that's awesome. That's got to be one of the highest off the bench scores that the BBL have seen, surely.
I don't know. That would be a nice stat to know. There was, sorry, did you say 37?
33
I think there was a 37 recently, but I can't recall who did it.
off the bench.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. Off a bench. Can you imagine someone going, "Oh, we've got a bench player who could bang in 33."
oh, actually,
What?
no. I'm actually referring to a story Paul Blake said to us last night. That's what I'm thinking. 37 in the first half is what he said.
Yes.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about this win for Plymouth is they just stood firm at home, and it was like time after time. They just stopped these huge momentum runs coming from like Mackenzie, who had 19 points, Allen with 35 points.
Yep.
I love the fact that Teddy Allen, he went on in a 11-0 run to bring the Riders within 3, and then Plymouth had their own run of 12-0. It was like, wow, what a moment.
It's also worth highlighting, like you just said there, with Teddy getting 35. So what? Did you get the win? No. So even though you can get some players who are getting these big numbers in, you've got to have everyone on the team contributing, and you've got to be stopping at the other end.
I'm glad you said that, because look at the total number of assists in the team between the two teams. Leicester, 9 assists.
Really?
Plymouth, 27.
Yeah, well, there we go. Get that ball moving. It makes such a difference. And again, we saw it, I was just talking about with the Scorchers and the Giants. With the Giants, you had that two-pronged attack almost, and it was really down to those guys. With the Scorchers, just moved it around, and everyone had I won't say an average game score-wise, 13, 15, etc. But everyone chipped in. And then suddenly, if you're defending them, you go, who am I looking at? Because any of these guys can score.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go, I know Teddy Buckets is going to be, if you're defending him, you go, he's going to the hole. I'm not saying he's going to be easy to guard, but you go, maybe we have to double him. Maybe we have to slow him down. But he is their offense. Cut the head off the snake, and then surely that will help. But
Well, you got to talk about Leicester Riders. TJ Lyles, well, he got a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds.
13 points. Nice.
Got a double-double. It's not something you see often, which is why I always like highlighting it. And Jacob Wiley for the Patriots, he got a double-double, 19 points and 14 rebounds.
Love a double-double. I love a triple-double.
I
I like seeing people who are efficient around the court and adding to every aspect. That's why I always love Russ Westbrook, even though people poo-poo him. He's always getting double figures.
Poo-poo him.
Yep, poo-poo him.
I would argue that looking at that Bristol game, because I did watch this one, looking at that, Bristol game, that Plymouth game,
Yep.
that if they had the team that they have now at the start of the season, I wonder where they would be now.
Well,
Because it's difficult for them to get to that 8th spot, but if they had the team where they are now, I wonder where they would be.
they had some injuries. They had a few issues on and off the court. And obviously they've got a tumultuous time with, are they losing their grounds? Where are they going to next? The chairman has stepped down. They get other people coming in. So there's a lot of transitions happening at that club. That can't be easy as well. So I might say almost they've got to look at the season as we've got to take a knee, do what we can do, and rebuild for next year. But it's going to be a different place. It's going to be a different team effectively next year, whoever it is, because of they're not going to be in that stadium. And as you know, not giving away too much, but as we talked about last night, the home ground and having that stadium just makes so much difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. Can I just add, back when I was talking about Leicester and stats,
Leicester.
the stats I was referring to included this Plymouth game.
Oh, okay.
Just for confirmation.
Okey-dokey.
If anyone's going, hang on. But yeah, they included that game.
Only Scoop would be pulling you up on that.
Scoop is someone we know who is, he's like Mr. Stato.
Fastidious with the stats.
He would, you could actually give him a year and he would give you every result in the FA Cup fixtures, like all of it. He was literally Mr. Stato. Anyway, right, let's crack on. We got last game up. Is a top of the table clash.
It's a big
Second v third. The Cheshire Phoenix versus the Caledonia Gladiators.
I like the fact you say it's top of the table.
Yeah, it's top of the table. Of course it is.
Top half, yeah.
No, second v third. Top half of the clash. You throw me off now. Shut up. This is second v third, and you've just thrown me off my whole rhythm.
Good.
I was in flow, and you threw my mind of what I was going to talk about. This was a huge game. Teams going to be looking at where they end up in the playoffs now, and this I think was the game. Have you got the league table there as it stands now?
Yeah.
Is this the game that pushes Cheshire into second place?
Yes.
What have you got it in? Can I have a look?
Yeah. There.
Yeah. So there's a three game difference as far as losses is concerned. So yeah, that's pretty significant going into the last part of the season. But it was a great.
They were both on 15 wins going into this game.
Okay. Yeah, but I think before Caledonia had 2 more losses, and so now they've got the gap is 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, now it's 16-15.
But this was a game. Look, these are 2 juggernauts going up against each other. At the end of the half, it was 44-44. That tells you everything.
Yep.
But in particular, this game was a great second half. Aaron Rye, huge performance, getting 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Maceo Jack, he threw in 15 points. EJ Steffens, 12 points. Cam Holden, 11 points. I love the fact that Cheshire are just spreading their offensive responsibility across the team. And that is why they're an absolute nightmare to defend for teams. Like you're trying to defend that. But we got to talk about the legend, LaQuincy.
Yeah.
LaQuincy Rideau was on absolute fire. Ended the game in 26.7 rebounds, 4 assists. Sorry, that's 4 steals, 3 assists. I buggered that one up.
Wow.
Damn it.
Terrible.
Damn it. I buggered that one up. Should I do that again?
Do it again.
Okay. LaQuincy Rideau, he was on absolute fire. Ended the game up with 26.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, Mark. We walk in the garden of his turbulence. Oh, dear.
Have you drunk Red Bull today?
Oh, dear.
It feels like that was a release. This is like a therapy session.
It was such a great game. I mucked it up. I had to give him a good one. I had to say something good. But he is Mr. Consistency. He's always close to getting a double-double. He is so strong getting to the basket. And he shows his range from beyond the arc as well. I like to think, is he the franchise player, Mr. Franchise? But
yeah.
They got so many threats. Aaron Wright, great player. Skylar White, banging in the threes. There was a particular great moment. I think it was really early on in the game, actually. Rideau is bringing the ball up. I think he's on the left side of the court, behind the back pass. Skylar White, boom!
Yes, yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
But yeah, what a great performance by him. And I'm going to come back to him in a second. But Cheshire now have won 10 straight games.
Yeah.
Something that they've not done since 2001. And they weren't even called the Cheshire Phoenix then.
No. Do you know what? I want to give Patrick Wheeling a shout out because he's just come back from injury for Caledonia. And he started off the bench, as you would, coming back from injury. Made an immediate impression. Got them within like 2 points. Showed why he's, a star sort of guard. But I ended up with 16 points, three rebounds and 4 assists. But for someone coming back, he is one of their starters, one of their star guys. Got injury, and then you go, well, you've got to come off the bench. So when you're coming in back to that first game, you think, I don't want it to be as important a game as this one is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe that fueled him on. And so all great. So it's good to see, none of us want to see anyone out injured. So it's good to see when players are coming back from injury.
And look, he did all right.
Yeah, he did all right.
He had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yep.
I know you like this stat, so I'll let you know it. Caledonia were 100% from the line as a team. You love that, don't you?
I absolutely love it.
How dare you stop that clap?
No, you don't
You
get
got to
full
let
clap.
it go.
No, don't get
They
full
were
clap.
100% from the line. But we got to talk about Quade Green.
Yep.
With a great contribution of 31 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Mark.
That was, you're not going to argue with that, are you?
He's quick.
He's very quick.
He's quick.
Very quick.
I did think he could get pushed off the ball a bit. I think at one point towards the end of the game, his own player pushed him over, which led to a strange last 40 seconds, I thought. But I like him. He's a good little player. He seemed to have a bit of a not rapport, but a little bit of back and forth with LaQuincy Rideau.
Yep.
They're both Americans. They're probably talking about the United States of America.
Oh, that's what you think they're chatting about on the court.
Yeah,
that's the PG version.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
probably going, oh yes, which borough are you from? Yes,
Borough. Yeah,
which borough? Very exciting.
But the other thing, again, talking about stats, is Cheshire out-rebounded the Gladiators, 36 rebounds, 26. But other than that, the stats were fairly close. But the rebounds was the one that stood out for me, and it was the great Pat Riley for the Los Angeles Lakers, who said rebounds win championships.
Yeah, they do, 100%.
His words. But it's a tough loss for the Gladiators. They got that good win against Surrey, but Cheshire just too strong from them. And you got to give it to Ben Thomas, the head coach of Cheshire. I think he's BBL Coach of the Month.
I think he is at the moment. Yeah.
10 straight wins. That's included BBL trophy.
Yeah.
They're securing that second spot. No one wants to take on London until the final. They're doing everything.
That would be a great final, wouldn't it? Cheshire and London in the final again. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be
the taste of defeat.
Yeah.
For the BBL trophy for London,
they would absolutely
have to play a part.
Yeah.
And the thing about the trophy is you can have that one win and claim the win. In the playoffs, I wonder how that would work out.
Yeah, and who's going to win top of the group and everything. But more importantly, because Cheshire secured that win over the Gladiators, it's another week that keeps the London Lions from delaying any celebration about a potential victory in the championship.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like pretty much done, but there's still the maths to deal with.
Originally, because Lions beat Bristol, if Cheshire had lost, the Lions would. That was it.
They got the cup,
but not this week.
The only thing I did think was odd in this game was towards the end. I wanted to say maybe they were up by like 8 or 9 or something, and there was 2 timeouts. And one of the timeouts for Cheshire was like with 19 seconds left, and you're up by 9 or so. I don't know, but it was like okay. One of the gladiators got thrown out the game. He gave a thumbs up to the crowd as he walked out.
Or Farrow. Yeah.
I can't say. Yeah. I can't say his surname. I'm not even going to attempt to.
Ali Hodzik.
I'm not even attempt to
Farrow
butcher
Ali
that.
Hodzik.
He got an unsportsmanlike in a tee. I do think his unsportsman's like. I mean, the commentating was saying, "Nah, it's a strong unsportsmanlike." I was like, that just looked like a foul to me. I don't know, but you know, those guys who are maybe they had better angles or a bigger TV than I had. I don't know. But I also missed a tee. So, but going back to LaQuincy Rideau, what a player! Getting to the basket, so strong inside and from beyond the arc, Mr. Franchise. This is it. This is what I wanted to highlight. This is why I like him. He's one of my favorite players. And one of my favorite stats is most fouls in the league. LaQuincy Rideau with 91 fouls.
Perfect.
Most assists in the league. LaQuincy Rideau, 164. Most steals in the league. LaQuincy Rideau, 74.
Wow.
That there, with the exception of the fouls, is a case for MVP.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
He has to be in that conversation. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I like the fact you're trying to use most fouls as a reason for getting him
I
MVP.
did say with the exception. It just shows that, but that stat shows you how much contact he's getting with people.
Why did MJ win those MVPs all the time? He'd win all defense player, but he'd also win, an MVP, and he'd win scoring records. He'd win a dunk competition and stuff. Why was that? It's like 'cause he's an all-round player. Steals, passes, assists, defense, rejection. He was everywhere. So that is as good as ground as any for it's all very well having a scoring champion.
And he's up there. He's up there with the scoring as well. So he's got to be in that conversation. But look, this is for the British Basketball League. What a bloody fantastic week of basketball!
And to finish that off, the league as it stands is London Lions, Cheshire Phoenix, Caledonia, Newcastle Eagles, Leicester Riders, Sheffield Sharks, Bristol Flyers, Surrey Scorchers, Manchester Giants, and at the end, Plymouth City Patriots.
I don't know why I've never thought of this, but do you know I like to come up with nicknames for the home courts?
Anything.
Leicester Riders, they're the stables. You go into the stables. I don't know why I've never thought of that one.
It sounds creepy.
Go the Warhorse Stables or something like that. Anyway,
do you want to come to the stables? No.
Right, let's go to the NBA, Mark.
Absolutely, onto the NBA. And it's fair to say there's been a few changes, but the main one this week is really about All-Star Weekend and how fantastic it was.
Do you actually really want me to comment on this?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I really want you to comment on it. Because I know it's going to be really happy and positive and sunshine and flowers.
Look, I'm going to... how do I word this to be nice? I think Mac McClung saved the weekend with the dunk competition, and he's a G League player. And that's the second time in a row he's won the slam dunk competition. And I'm talking about him saving the league, saving the weekend.
I thought his dunk was utter myself. I didn't really like it.
I loved his dunks.
Really?
Yeah, I loved his dunks. Which one did you not like?
Firstly, I didn't like the Shaq one. I thought it was...
He's jumping over someone who's 7'4".
Okay.
You're going, didn't we like that?
Right, Shaq's not 7'4", he's 7'1". But have you seen Vince Carter do the dunk in the Olympics? Everyone saw that. Vince Carter doing the dunk in the Olympics over a 7-foot guy. That's the impressive dunk, because you go, it's in game, and he posterizes the guy.
I liked it, Mark.
I'm not saying it's not
I liked his
athletic.
dunks.
It's just,
And I really liked his dunks. And the fact that he's got a jersey that looks like an Orlando Magic jersey is even better.
yeah, I'm sure Aaron Gordon would disagree there. But
I would go as far. I'm trying to say this as nice as possible. I think everyone knows what is wrong with the All-Star weekend, but it's like no one's doing anything about it. So,
should we do a positive then?
what?
Can I do a positive?
Yeah, go on.
The Steph and Sabrina, the 3-point shoot. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's all right.
I liked it.
I didn't like the court for me, took away the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
I was like, it was like lime green, wasn't it, at the moment? It's like, I was focused on the court and not like the shooting. I wasn't a fan of the WWE belt that Steph got for winning it as well.
Well, there's a little clip of him doing that, and he's like, it's a interesting touch. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know we were doing that. But credit to Sabrina and credit to Steph as well, because
She showed she could shoot.
She hit 26.
She did use a WNBA ball. I wondered what they would do.
She used
for that.
the WNBA ball because that's the ball she's used to, but she shot from the same line that Steph did. So you can't argue with that.
I wondered if they would do a workout. Who would they? Steph go down? Would she go up? I don't know.
I guess
you can't compare them.
No, not directly.
No.
But what you would say is she got 26. That's the same as everyone else in the dunk competition, in the 3-point competition. Yeah. She would have been second.
She can shoot.
I mean, yeah. So it was credit to Steph because he had, his reputation. He put that on.
But you
he's
said
arguably
that
the best.
when you
shooter.
went and watched. I think you were in Minnesota and you watched a WNBA game. The first thing you said to me was, I don't think you'll mind me saying this. You were like, I was surprised how good their shooting was, and that was like their shooting is really good.
Oh yeah, I think it's because I've not seen that level of professional women's basketball, so I just hadn't seen that level, and it's everyone's because it's not that. There is physicality, but it's a different kind of physicality. It's more about moving that ball and shooting. So they're getting that open shot, it's in. It's really quite impressive to see. But that for me was.
I thought
that was better than the dunk competition was junk.
It wasn't. I loved it.
No, Jaylen Brown, he should have been.
Mac McClung's dunks were nice. They were good dunks.
Okay.
They are, and I like it when they show something different. So he jumped over a player, got the ball, threw it up, let go, caught it, and then put it behind for a reverse dunk. It was like, that was good.
That was no question with that.
And I thought him and the 3-point challenge, I thought those were the saving graces for the weekend.
They were really, really good. But the only problem I had with Brown was, I don't know if you saw Jaylen Brown, he put a Michael Jackson glove on, did a dunk over a guy who's 5'2" or something, who was sat down. It's like, I would probably be able to jump over that. I wouldn't be able to dunk it, but I'd be able to jump over him. But he did that, and then he did a dunk and then covered his eyes, and you go, what was that? It was awful. And everyone has slated him. Like, he should not be. What is he doing that for? That's where you should bring people who are G League, like Matt McClung. Bring players who are rookies and stuff like that. Get them into that.
For me, I'd like the dunk competition. It was like that was. I quite liked it, and I liked the dunks. That wasn't the negative for that weekend for me.
What was it?
The negative is I've got a Larry Bird quote for you.
Yeah.
The legend Larry Bird. And I think he called out players
from his press conference
before the game and urged them to take it seriously. And he said, the one thing I'd really like to see is they play hard tonight in this All-Star game. I think it's very important when you have the best players in the world together, you've got to compete and you've got to play hard and you've got to show the fans how good they really are. Now, I think when you have a game that looks like a training run with a lack of effort that is a a showcase, and you can see. I've got a stat for you. These are the number of fouls that were called. So in 1974, 46 were fouls were called in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
1993, 62 fouls called. 2003, 37 fouls called. 2023, 7 fouls called. This All-Star game, 3 fouls called.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And when it's like, I didn't even look at the score in the end, 200 and something, 180 or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's give up.
It's just like, I mean, I'd like Dame's 50-foot shot. That was good. It was entertaining. But when guys are mucking about on the court and they're laughing, like there was a moment with Lucas and Jokic and they were like, yeah, and they were like, it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Because when no one wants to be there.
When you lack competition and pride, you lose your audience and your viewers. And the All-Star game package is absolute trash, is what my view is on it.
It has been for years.
But I have got a solution. I have got a solution. Now, I know you said, we talked about let's get the world versus the Americans. Yeah?
Yep.
Can't do it. That moment with Lucas and Jokic in the game where they were mucking around highlighted to me that NBA players are too conformed in the All-Star game with, we're having a laugh, this is it, you can't bring them in. So my suggestion is this should no longer be world versus NBA because those guys are just having a laugh and there's no competition there. So instead, let's make it about Europe taking on the NBA. I'm talking Barcelona, Real Madrid, Olympiacos, Monaco, Milan, Munich. Let's take players from teams from Spain, Greece, France, Israel, Turkey, Italy, Germany, Serbia, Lithuania, Great Britain, with maybe London Lions. Gotta get Great Britain in there, Mark. Let's take that team. They will go over there and be, playing with some competition and pride. That is what I think the All-Star game needs. Let's put the NBA up for bragging rights against Europe.
I mean, it's an idea.
Europeans will go over and go, right, we're going to play. And look, you're talking about those teams are in the biggest European league. Like they're all playing in the big European league.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're gonna go over and say we are up for this. It's like the Olympics.
Well,
that is my idea.
On our own, I like it. I like the idea. I mean, we posted on Instagram about probably the benchmark for the All-Star game, and that benchmark is the one. I think it's 2001 in Washington. And it's the one where Kobe is playing.
Yeah, I was going to say Kobe, Magic, Jordan. That's the last time you go back and enjoy those games.
So this one is where you'll get him and Marbury, and you've got Garnett, Vince Carter. You got every single person in that era who was in the very early 2000s. This is 2001.
But look how they're celebrating when that goes in.
Oh, they are all. This was
pride. That's what that says.
Yeah, because
me.
they were. He had Kobe's team. And they were. It was Kobe got the ball. I want the ball back. Give me the ball. And they were fighting for it. It was 110, 111. I think there was a score at the end. But they were fighting for it. But what I also liked in that era, they were all wearing their own jerseys. And one team was wearing the home jerseys, so they were in the white colours. And then one team was in the coloured colours.
Yeah, I actually quite like the East-West kit. But
I
everyone's
like
different.
the jerseys.
Everyone's different. But that victory when they're all jumping up there,
it meant something.
Pride is
so
they're up for it.
I read one online. You might like this. If you're going to do East versus West, how about this? Whoever wins gets the advantage of home court when you're in the playoffs.
No, but that might not be. That's not fair. That's not. That's not a bad idea.
If you're
actually.
East or West, it doesn't matter who it is. Because even if you're not someone, if say you're in Atlanta and Trae Young, and you're not even playing on the first team or whatever, it doesn't matter. Because if the East win, say Miami, sorry, you're in Miami, so Miami gets it. You win. If Miami somehow get to the finals, they got the advantage in the East over the West.
You may only have a handful of players who are like, right, this actually is making a difference to me now. But yeah, that might then kick everyone else to wanting to play.
Yeah, but most of these people, if you like these people there, were on Kobe's team. They're on Kobe's team. He's like, yeah, you're not slacking here.
It's not a bad idea. The NBA needs to rethink that package.
So everyone's saying put money to them, pay the players money. They get enough money. They don't need it. It's like incentivize them and the team, and you go, make it work for it.
The All-Star game is a joke.
Well, the All-Star game was it was terrible.
It'd be interesting what the viewing figures are.
Wasn't very good apparently so far, but they haven't announced the figures.
I bet the all-season, the NBA Cup, that would be bigger. That final would be
possibly.
Bigger,
oh yeah, no, the NBA Cup was definitely. But also, the one thing they did do, which I thought was quite nice, was a rising star thing. And we've got to give a shout out to Jeremy Sochan, because Jeremy was part of that rising ballers or rising stars. It was the rookies or the juniors all playing, and they had a separate game for that. And I don't know if you saw that one.
That might be another idea.
They did that.
Rookies to play.
No, so they had one game that was doing it. It was the first year that they've ever done it, and it was a separate one on the weekend.
But I mean, get the rookies to play the actual All-Stars.
Well, so these rookies were coached by previous players. You had Jalen Rose, Detlef Schrempf, and and that was really good. But yeah, you're saying all right. Like, no one knows about it because it wasn't really highlighted, and they just sort of quietly did it this year. Like, this is the first time we're doing it. We're going to see how it goes. And I actually thought it was better than it.
Make that the highlight.
Yeah, just celebrate the NBA a bit more. But apparently, ticket prices were like $3,500, and
for
to go.
What?
Yeah, it's just
for what? Just to watch.
Fans didn't get to see players. They didn't get to interact, and that's the whole point about it. It should be a celebration. So they did miss the mark on that, unfortunately, with the NBA.
I'm going to go back to my comment, and I'm going to say, I don't think. Oh, should I say this or not? Because I'm really throwing this out here.
Why not?
I don't think the NBA would have the testicular fortitude to take on the European championship team. Like with players from Barcelona, Real Madrid. They're all good teams. I'm not saying it's a better league at all.
So you'd have Giannis and Jokic playing for the NBA, and you're basically saying,
yeah. So
what you're really saying is NBA versus FIBA, effectively.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Because those the European guys are going to go out there and set pride. They're going to be out and they're going to go, you can muck around. We're going to try to win this game.
All the players coming, they're going to want it because they go, there might be a chance I could get scouted and come in the NBA. So they're going to be playing on their absolute game.
And if the NBA players turn up and want to joke about, you're going to lose.
But do you know my only caveat why I think it fails as a whole thing? It's my ending comment. I think it fails because none of the players can afford to be injured during the game.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
And because of that, they will never play hard now. And because of all these things now where they have rules, you've got to play so many games.
Why have it then? It's
exactly. Imagine the money. And some of them get fined and they actually lose their salary if they don't play so many games, or it affects their contracts going forward. So insurance-wise, they're like, we can't afford to do it. But I don't know.
Well, the only other thing it's worth, I actually think this needs, I'm going to make the point, but I think it needs its own show. We should talk about the legend Shaquille O'Neal, who has just had his number 32 jersey raised to the rafters by the Orlando Magic, and he's joined Wilt Chamberlain and Pete Maravich and being the only players to have a jersey retired by 3 different clubs.
Yeah.
So O'Neal, he's had his number 34 retired by the Lakers, number 32 by Miami Heat, and now 32 for the Orlando Magic as well. So yeah, I mean, he's in great company there, and I think that deserves a show in itself.
It will do, because once you've opened the floodgate with Shaq, you've got Penny waiting in the wings at Orlando, and that was the very first one that Orlando have ever done. So it's a matter of time before they start putting other people up.
Yeah, we'll do a show about Shaq.
Big Diesel.
Well, there you go, Mark. Great weekend for the BBL. Great week for the BBL. awful weekend for the NBA.
Great week for the BBL, and we haven't got another game with the BBL until the 29th. So it's like another 9 days until the BBL game.
Right.
They've almost got like a week off. It's crazy. I don't know what they'll be doing. Maybe there's a lot of European games.
They're on
this
a
week,
break
got
so they
things
can
going
interview
on.
us.
But if you are not doing that, and if you are not playing basketball, you should be listening to our previous shows. Go back, check them out, have a listen, join us on Instagram or Facebook and all those other beautiful things. We're even on YouTube now, so go check that out. I have been Mark.
I have been Paul, and if they got 9 days off, we must be able to interview someone.
Interview someone and get them to play badminton.
No.